Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Math Magic, my tutorial series where I build cool stuff and then show you the cool stuff I build, and then maybe you want to build it too. So, if you're a follower of my single player series, which I hope you are, and if not you should be, we have a lot of fun, you're probably aware that my last world was corrupted beyond recall, unfortunately, so we had to abandon it for greener pastures, which is a real drag. So we lost everything, including some of the sweet farms we had come up with. So as like an homage to that, little memorial, and to give you guys a way to find some of that stuff in case you ever want to build it yourself or borrow any of the ideas from it, I thought we'd dedicate the next few videos in this tutorial series to some of the cooler farms I had going on in that world. So first up is one of my personal favorites, the Next Level Dye Farm. This is a fully automated and semi-automated farm that'll give you the renewable dyes such as cocoa beans, cactus, poppy flowers, which will give you the red dye, dandelions for the yellow dye, squidding, which I've represented with this black piece of wool, and random junk leftover, which I represented with this boat. So, if this seems like something you want to build because you want to stain a bunch of clay or glass or wool, if you're into that, then keep watching the video. So the first thing you need to know when placing this farm is the criteria that must be met for squid to spawn. The squid tanks have to be 2 blocks deep, and they can only be below y equals 63. So I've got these 2 block deep tanks, but this one is at y equals 63, this water block right here, and this one is at y equals 62. And as you can see, plenty of squid and no squid. So that's going to determine where you put the tanks. You can put them lower if you'd like. I think squid will spawn pretty deep. I haven't tested the bottom length. I think it's maybe around 40. But for our purposes, we're going to do it at y equals 62, so we don't have to dig out a whole bunch of sandstone. So I've pre-built a tank here. The only differences between that tank is, as you can see, the signs. And to do this, you just take a block here, your sign, put the sign on a block, and then put the sign on the sign, and they'll just stack like that forever. They will pop off if you break the block. Like that, so just be careful you don't break these once you place these, because that is a pain to place. A lot of signs. So next we're going to fill this with water, so to give our squids a nice home before we kill them. And if you fill both sides with water, as you can see, the rest of it fills in for you, which is nice. There we go, and our 2 layers are met, and this is at y equals 62. This block is. We're standing on y equals 63. Y equals 62 is right there. So it's perfect. Oh, neato. As you can see, we've already got a whole bunch of squid spawning and dying too. This is in fact the method we're going to use to extract their sacks. So, but anyway, it's time for us to move on to the next level of the farm. Get it? The next level dye farm. This next part is the cactus farm. What we need to do is place a checkered pattern of slabs or full blocks. You can use full blocks here if you'd like. I don't think it'll affect the spawn rate for the squids. But just a pattern like this. And then we're going to place sand on top of that. Like this. And then we're going to place cactus on top of the sand. Now we're going to do that for this whole level up here, but we're actually not going to put a layer outside because we want the cactus to have a nice place to fall if they choose to bounce this way instead of landing on top of the tank. So leave this 1 block gap here, but go ahead and place your checkerboard pattern like so, just like that, and we'll move on to the next layer after that. Alright, our cactus layer is good to go except for one last thing. The key to farming these guys is to place a block adjacent to where they will grow to. So when a cactus grows here, because there's a block here, it will automatically pop off and fall down. Hopefully it doesn't fall on the cactus, but if it does, no big deal. We got plenty more on the way. I'm using fences because their collision box is the smallest of all the solid blocks. So if a cactus decides to bounce this way, hopefully it'll hit the fence and fall through. Without getting stuck on top, because fences are pretty tall. So we're going to need to figure out a pattern that will cover all of the cactuses. I believe something like this will work. Just so long as the cactus is adjacent to a fence post. Doesn't have to be on all sides, but just one. So these guys are all covered, so that's a good pattern. I'm going to use that for the rest of this. We need one more here. Very good. One here. And one more there. Let's take a quick look and make sure all our cactuses are touching a fence post on one side. And I think they are, so that's good for that layer. Now what's going to happen is when the cactus grow, hopefully they'll pop off, fall through the hole, or fall on the outside, pass through the squid ink tank, and fall down here to the next level of the dye farm. The squid keeps spawning, it's pretty awesome. We're getting good rates already, probably because this is the only water around. So, the next portion of the dye farm is where things start to get a little complicated, but not too bad. We just need to make one decision here, and that is how much space you want between the grass layer and your ceiling. You could do it like this. You could even do it like this if you want only 2 blocks. I'm kind of tall. I like to have 3 blocks of headroom, so I'm going to put my grass level here. First, I'm going to mark out the corners of that level because we actually need to do something else first. There we go. So we don't need that block, but just as a guideline, so we know where to go. We're actually going to build the layer underneath this first, because it's going to be a lot easier to get to before we put a whole bunch of grass down. So once we've got that taken care of, we need to clear a gap between where our grass is going to be, this height, and where we're going to put rails. So I'm going to excavate this real quick. Be right back. Excellent. Now that we've got our area cleared, it's time for us to lay the tracks. And the reason for this is minecart hoppers have a unique property where they can pick up blocks that are, or pick up items that are on top of the block above them. So we've got our hopper minecart on a rail here. We've got a block above it. Check the redstone, and voila, it's in the minecart. So that's pretty awesome. So we're going to run a cart underneath where our grass layer is going to be. Remember, it's going to be at this level, so we want to put the rails here. So first, we need to put powered rails at each end. And then we're just going to run it in a zigzag pattern, like this. Except for when we get to the middle, just to keep our minecart going, put a powered rail. Oops. You don't want it to make any connections like that, so if you have to... Dang it, man. There we go. If you have to order the placement of the track a little carefully because of directional issues, then no problem. So go ahead and make your zigzag pattern like this, and end with your powered rail here. Alright, perfect. Almost. I made one mistake, and I miscounted the rails, but I had to move that powered rail over here and readjust the zigzag because there was one fewer line than I had thought. Oh, and I missed a couple powered rails. Boop, boop, there we go. No problem. We're going to set this up running. What we're going to need to do is, first I'm going to mark this so I know what I'm doing. We're going to dig under here and just turn the powered rails on with a lever, because levers are cheap. Oh, there we go. So just all of these, give them levers. Oops. Like so. This will turn them all on. And it's much cheaper than redstone torches, so nice. And this guy we're going to have to turn them on too. So let's get underneath here. You don't have to put them... Did I place that? Oh. You don't have to put them underground like this, but I just like to have them out of the way so they aren't powering anything I don't want powered. So that's good. Next, let's go ahead and place our grass. So cover it all up with grass blocks. Just fill this whole area in. Voila! A beautiful carpet of lush green grass. This stuff is desert hardy. It will never wither or die. Very good stuff. Get it? Die? So, the next step is to place on the sides regular pistons 1 block away. And what these are going to do is serve as our pushers, just like that. And one block away again. It's one block between the pistons and the grass. This is going to shift the grass back and forth, so when we bone meal it, it'll break off the poppies, dandelions, and seeds, and whatnot. So, now that we've done that, our next step is to find the center, if you're into symmetry. And it's time to build our clock. That's going to control these shifting floors. So this is a clock design I came up with, based off a nifty little trick. This is just the floor of it. We're going to need a sticky piston there. Let's see. This, I'm going to redstone torch. There we go. It's like that, and repeaters. Very good. So, place them in a circle. Place your redstone everywhere but here. Instead, we're going to use this block because it's pretty. I'm all about the pretty blocks. There we go. Now, this repeater is powered. And when I flick this lever, it's going to unpower the torch and extend the repeater just in time to transfer the signal around in the clock cycle. Just like that. So you get a nice one-tick clock. No muss, no fuss. So, we're going to extend that signal from each side to our pistons over there, and this one to our pistons over here. And cover it with redstone. Missed a block. That's okay. We're going to put a repeater there so the signal reaches. Very good. And the same thing for this side. Extra blocks. Who cares? They were free. I'm going to save the last piece of redstone. Cover all that. There we go. And bam. So now we need to extend this one block further, so this has something to push onto. It's getting dark. Better hurry. There we go. So when we cycle this, I hope nobody's epileptic, and if you are, I'm sorry. Let's turn this down a little bit, maybe 3 ticks. Oops. There we go, that's a little more tolerable. So, let's turn it to day. There we go. You see the cactus is already falling down, but this one fell on the outside. You're probably going to want to put maybe. I'm using glass because it's pretty again. All about the pretty blocks. Put them over where it should line up with this, but just make yourself a wall so stuff doesn't fall outside of the track because the track only goes that far. So we're gonna make a wall real quick. Is it going to be all glass? No, I'm going to use this. It's like that. Anyway, you know how to build a wall. And it's not that important to the structural integrity of the farm. So we're going to move on to the next part. The hopper system down here. I'm going to clear a little area, and then I'll explain how this is going to work. Excellent. It looks like the farm's producing pretty well. We haven't really even done anything yet. So, the next step, you're going to need a couple more powered rails. We're going to extend that a little bit. Under this powered rail, we're going to replace a hopper. Put the powered rail back. There we go. And we're going to need a comparator. We're going to take that signal off of that hopper, put it into the block. The repeater is going to grab the signal, put it into that block, and then torch in a block above to power the rails. Very good. So what this does is anytime there's something in the hopper, like Squid ink, for example, it's going to power the comparator, which is going to power the repeater, which is going to turn off the torch, which turns off the rails. Basically what that means is when this minecart with the hopper is running and it has an inventory, once it gets to the hopper here, it's going to stop and unload all of its inventory until it's completely empty. And since we've got some Squid ink, let's give this a run for the money, shall we? So I'm going to bump it. give it a good solid bump. There we go. It's going to pick up all the stuff. Oh, very good. Now once it gets here. Good. Now it's unloading. Very good. Filled up the hopper. The only problem is the hopper is not connected to anything yet. So let's go ahead and hook up our sorting system. That bad boy. Alrighty, I've got us a nice large area cleared out for our sorting system. So first what we want to do is run our transport pipe of hopper chains all the way from this hopper down to the end. Just like that. Nope. Just like that. Good. Then using a directional thing, place some blocks here. And the hoppers like this, facing the blocks. They have to be facing the blocks. Or just facing any way but down. There we go. Good. And lastly, put our chests here. So you can use a block to help you out there. This is where those nice identifying blocks come in handy. If you want to show what's in the chest with the block underneath. Then point the hopper into the chest like this. And brilliant. And just for the sake of symmetry, why not? So now we're going to do a little bit of redstone magic. I'm going to need some blocks like that. This is our frame for the redstone gadgetry. It's getting dark, so let's control time with our mighty power. There we go. Good. And one more. So what? Alrighty. So what you're going to do is place a comparator facing out of this hopper. So the hopper that's pointing to the back, face the comparator that same direction. Oops. There we go. Now we're going to take the signal from that, run it down a redstone wire, just like this. Very good. Now take a repeater and take that redstone signal back into this block. Just like that. And then redstone torches here. Now what this does is once this inventory of this hopper is filled to its threshold, which is 22 items, it will trigger this comparator signal strength of 2 blocks. So it'll reach farther enough to power this repeater, which will unpower this torch, allowing items to pass through. So what you need is 18 of each item that you're going to sort. Oops, I think I just, triggered that. There we go. So we've got our cactus. Just going to stick them in there. Why, all of them, why not? We've got our squid ink down here already. So that's good. Cocoa beans. Then we've got our flowers of various types. Red flowers, no. Poppies they're called. Just like that. And dandelions. Oh, I threw them away. Hold on. There we go. We got them all. And that's it. That is the whole shebang. Epic, isn't it? So, anytime you want to collect... Oh, wait. Oh, one last thing. We forgot one last thing. You need jungle wood to place the cocoa beans on. Cocoa beans you have to manually harvest. You can add a nice, like, sticky piston thing to automatically harvest them. But you're going to want to pick them up so you can replant, so the hopper minecart doesn't pick it all up. So get your nice wall of jungle wood. Doesn't have to be, you know, all in the same direction as this, but if you want to put it on this side, doesn't matter. And then you just cover it in cocoa beans. And pretty soon you got yourself a nice farm going there. There we go. So we're all set. Just make sure that your ends of these tracks have a block at them so the minecart doesn't run right off. The only thing left to do, set up a hopper minecart inside of this rail system. Give it a nudge in the right direction. Nudge. There we go. And you've got yourself a next level dye farm. Of course, it needs a little bit of prettying it up, but I'll leave the aesthetics to you guys. Anyway, thanks for watching this tutorial video. I hope you learned something about building this or Minecraft in general. Feel free to check out some of my other stuff. I've got more tutorials on the way, so get pumped about that. Hype, hype, hype. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again next time.